Guys, this is DFG, aka Dark Frozen Depths, back with some more Kamihime project. There is a lot of stuff that's going on right now. They have reached, I think, 2 million players. That doesn't necessarily mean they're active, but it does mean that at least 2 million accounts have been created. So, actually, you might want to thank Reroller people for that too, because people that re-roll create accounts and whatnot. But here's the thing with that. We get up to another 1,500 magic jewels for logging in 12 days, so there's more of a login for that. Now, that raid boss act available thing's going to be here for a while, and that I'll get to that in a second. But also, they've given out the rewards for the quiz, and your name's been announced if you're in one of the top two prizes, from what I've seen. They also given out magic jewels for compensation for the maintenance. I forgot, but yeah, for the quiz results, here's the 15 players that managed to get the SSR guaranteed stuff. And then on top of that, there's players that may have gotten a premium gacha ticket or SR Kamihime weapon ticket. They also have all the answers to the quiz right here, I do believe. Which happens to be all this right here. Now, quite frankly, I don't know if I got the answers right or not. If I didn't, I got tripped up on the weapon questions. But I didn't get anything, so it's unfortunate. Either that or it hasn't even registered yet. But that said, if you're watching this video and you're one of the 15 people that's mentioned right here, pause the video, take a quick look. If you're any of these 15 winners, then you've got an SSR 10 chain ticket, so you're guaranteed an SSR item from there, either the Kamihime weapon or the Adolin, and then you get a 10, it's part of a 10 chain too, so you might luck out and get some more. But that's one thing about this. There's another thing you obviously see over there, but we'll get to it later. But, and they even mention it again right here. But here's the thing with this one. 200 magic jewels is compensation for them, quote unquote, taking too long. But there's a lot of changes they did. Namely this. If you are building a Thunder team, Marduk is one to actually try to go for. I looked her up. She's got a C-frame attack down. Not too many characters have that. I know Zephyrus is one of them, which is why I use her on the win team, even though she's our character. And you can pull her with gems, so everybody should have her at some point. But the whole thing with this, Marduk, very good Kamihime from what I'm seeing, because she can be an attack buffer, she can simply be an attack debuffer, meaning if I do happen to get her, I can drop Ramio, maybe, because Ramio got that burst boost, and then she hits dizziness like the plague. But I know there's a barrier. But another big thing about Marduk, if you remember Arthur, who has the ability to instantly fill her burst gauge, Marduk can do it too. So, she's a very good Kamihime all around, even if you don't want a Thunder team. So, I suggest pulling for her, if you really want to be honest. She's not a bad one to go after. Then they also have Empowerment ability gacha too. I think Rajan's one for it. But to be quite honest, I want to save my resources for upcoming characters, because Mars is another good one that they're about to release soon, if I'm correct. Again, I'm pulling this from multiple sources, the JP Wiki, and then people that's been predicting all the different things that's going down. Mars is another very good one to get, and she's a fire-based one. She'll be coming soon. Cybele, who I absolutely would love to get, is coming pretty soon. But with Mars, there's a fire-boosted gacha, so I might get Daki as well. There's like a lot of choices I'm trying to save these magic jewels for. So who knows? And of course, me adding money is only based on if I get a decent amount. Now, I'm not exactly sure on that just yet. They also said there's an SSR weapon ticket added to the Dragonic Eye Exchange. I don't know what that's about, but it may or may not be worth it anyway. more or less you want to save your Dragonic Eyes for Awakening Kamihime, because we're getting quite a bit of them right now. I'm working with Severog, because, turns out Souls is going to take a while. Like, if things are correct, Souls is going to be at least another 3-4 events before I can get hers. So I might save up for her, I might not, I don't know. But, again, Marduk is a very, very good Kamihime, so you may or may not want to pull for her. I still suggest you try anyways. Because that C-frame attack down is one thing, but it also buffs your team on top of it. That's very good. Instant burst gauge fill. Also very good, especially you know how Arthur is. She's like a better version of Arthur if you really want to be honest. Because she comes with I don't know if she has any ability nukes, but she comes with a barrier ability and as regen. I don't know if it's to the whole party, but what barrier does is the fact that a certain amount of damage you'll get protected from. So say it's a barrier for 1,000 HP, then anytime you get hit for 1,000 damage or more, it's going to remove that amount of damage. If you get hit for less, it will still carry over as long as the buff stays active for a certain amount of turns. Because some of them only stay around for like maybe 3 turns or something, I think. But that's the whole thing with that one. That's what barrier does. It's like it protects you from that much amount of damage, period, point blank. So that's the whole thing with that. Typically, stronger attacks is just not going to do too much to it. It's going to just like with stronger attacks, that barrier is just going to get overridden quickly. That's the one thing. Now, this is another thing. We're in the final Crucible of combat, I do believe, before they start repeating. This is against the Sloth demon, and she's water-based. So that's another reason why Marduk's been added. That's why we got a Thunder boosted gotcha. Which is good for anybody that wants an awaken Kamihime like Thor or TYR, because they both can awaken. We can get a the funny thing is though, the weapons they're giving us, they're labeled as Thunder, but it says Water Sickle. Maybe that's a typo on their part. But again, get your Thunder teams ready for this. So we're going to go into that in a second. But one last thing I've got to check out. Because naturally you're going to want to know yourself. Like I said, I'm really racking up on magic jewels and stuff. They said they have it in the exchange anyway, so let's go check it out. Because I'm curious to see. Yeah, see, there's an SSR guaranteed ticket. And the SSR guaranteed weapon ticket. Okay, that's worth 5. But that's worth 10. So, apparently, and if I heard this correctly, this will get you either a Kamihime weapon or an Adoan. Because they removed the weapons from the gacha entirely, and they got their own separate thing. This will lead to these. So to be quite honest, I heard that these weapons that are tradable for Dragonic Eyes become some of the best weapons in the game later on. If you are trying to hunt them down, you're better off getting these. But like I said, Dragonic Eyes, probably better off saved for other stuff. But that's what I had to go check out on that one. Now, and this is going to change the tab. Because I already had it saved. Like, I copied the link and everything. Now, we're going into the Crucible of Combat, and this one, I strangely get the feeling this could be a problem. I just got that feeling, but we'll see. But for those of you who don't know, Union raid events, and it's already too late to even switch. They gave us no time to prepare for this, because we're going into it immediately after the last event. But thing with this, You work together with your union to try and deal damage to the demon bosses. The little ones you can sip and the little ones you can use anybody's help with, so it's suggested to try and like at least put the little ones out there because of the fact that if your union members get in, then you all get extra grails, I guess. It's like each person gets grails and it gets added to the whole pool, I do believe. Because I've been getting grails and I haven't even spent any. Or there's been times I had come in and I notice, oh hey, I got more grails. Yeah, it gets added to the entire pool. I confirm that one. But when it comes to the demon ones, only your union can jump in, not your friends or any random person out there. So what you do is you get the grails in order to try to get these they call them purgatory crosses in this. But you get the grails to get these buffs pretty much. Standard things that apply for everybody. If you really want to do the most damage output, you're going to definitely max out burst damage and attack power. So that's a given. You definitely want more HP because you want to try and survive longer. Now, my suggestion to you is also to get some recovery and maybe some triple stage attack, which means the 3-hit combos they sometimes do. But I don't necessarily know what the boss does, so abnormality increases or whatnot, who knows. But we're about to get into what they do anyways. So, when it comes to the Wilms, they go standard and expert. And this one, by the looks of things, does overall nukes. So, that's what's going to happen. And yeah, you do want some resistance when looking at the demon. But anyways, it looks like this one debuffs your combo rate, along with hitting everybody with thunder damage. Now, this damage number right here says 2,500 and 4,500. I don't know if that's exact, but there's ways to reduce the damage you take anyways. So, that's the whole thing with that. And if you're fighting the expert one, which you should, because to be quite honest, given that it's raid battles, you should not be trying standard on the Williams. You can get help. You should not be trying standard. But you're going to be dealing with 2.5 million HP on an expert one. Now, when it comes to the demon itself, and remember, they get stronger the more you kill them. But it says that there is absolutely no normal attack, which is weird. But it's saying that you will have a random attack from the following below, which could be poison, flame, drowning. Corruption tends to be putrefy. Zombie is a really bad one. And then there's petrification, which is also another really bad one. Zombie prevents you from healing in the form of if you heal, you'll take damage instead. Petrification, you just don't move. And I don't know if it's a guaranteed petrify like how it was for Medusa a long time ago, but some of these is looking pretty damaging and very dangerous. And it says its charge does damage to everybody. So if I'm reading this correctly, you're going to get hit with a lot of status effects. You probably want some resistance. It's like she will keep placing status effects on you non-stop. So, believe it or not, I think you might want to go 100 into that. Which means you might want to spread out your other buffs. Like, get as much ailment resistance as you can, basically. Now, here's who they recommend for this one. Since neither enemy has a mode gauge, which I didn't notice until just now, there's no rage, there's no stun. So, anyone with stun or raging specialization, don't use them. So actually, that kind of kills part of TYR's perk where she can sip and do a whole bunch of stun damage. but she's still got a defense down, so she's worth using. But that's the whole thing. If you're using characters like Siegfried or Beowulf, if you're using characters like, I know Belphegor has a stun duration increase and a raging meter boost, don't use them. Simply put, they're just not going to be as nowhere near as effective. But they do have charges, so that's just the whole thing. You gotta be very close, pay very close attention to her charge turns. But what makes this demon one dangerous is the fact that she got 5 charge turns, which is 6 if you use Mordred. But that's the whole thing. That's more chances of her putting status effects on you. And again, zombie and petrification are particularly dangerous, so yeah. This is more about, like, the way this is set up, this seems more about if you could sit up and just do some damage to them. Yeah, see, this is the 2 things they pointed out. Petrification, you cannot move. Your defense goes up, but you cannot move. So, to be quite honest, if you're going to get hit with anything, you want it to be poison and all that. So, this said, bring anybody that can increase your resistances, bring anybody that can heal said resistances. So, that's, yeah. You might even want to sip and make a lot of use out of Thor if you can, because if you have her, she comes with an ability where she can actually just nuke an enemy and they can't move or act for a certain amount of time. Depends on if you got her awakened or not. Because you got her awakened and up, I think it's a level 45 or 55. If you got her awakened and she's a high enough level, it'll become a 30-second one instead of 15. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just rereading this just to try and make sure I got this right, because I don't know anything about this yet either. This is my first time looking at it. But she does do a lot of damage over time moves here too, so that's where the resistances really come in. Because I do believe corruption is putrefy. And if that's the case, that's 4 damage over time moves you can sip and get on your team. And if they start racking up, you start racking up a lot of damage. And then on top of that too, is the simple fact that she's got an AoE move after 5 turns, 6 if you extend it. Maybe more if you can extend it even further. I might be doing this with my light team just because I can do that twice. And then get some healing with it and everything too. But the whole thing with this is the fact that you can get hit pretty hard, and then her biggest thing is the status effects. I cannot stress that enough. This is going to be a pretty dangerous fight. But I understand why she's called Sloth now, because she mainly lets her status effects do the work, and she doesn't do it herself that much. But oh boy, that's going to be a problem. And here's what you're targeting for your achievement rewards. You want to get 3 million participation points yourself. Your union has to try and accumulate 60 million. You have to get 150 expert kills and 400 ultimate kills if you want to get everything. So, yeah. But we're going to zip and go back here and try and find out exactly where they are. Like, they're giving you, well, I don't know if that's the actual thing with it. I do know for a fact that Grimoire 2 million seems feasible. That Grimoire at 2 million seems feasible. And I know the 60 million probably going to end up being that one. But needless to say, you got to sip and get a lot of kills in order to start getting the limbs and whatnot. And I've done a video on the limbs, and the whole thing with them is the fact that you have to have at least 3 or more of an element. The only loam that seems worth it off of that would be the Phantom Element loam. But the whole thing with her is the fact that you can't pick her as a friend add-on. So, and it'd be wonderful if you could, because you could easily get a quick 180 attack power with that setup. But that's the whole thing. It's like, it's only best for very specific setups, because if you have some very strong attackers, like if I tried to pull this my fire team, that would be great. Because I have 3 strong fire attackers. One even buffs everybody a lot, and I can awaken her pretty soon. But that's the whole thing. I have 3 strong fire attackers, all SSR. And they would be pretty good with the Willem. I just have to get somebody like, say, Beelzebub, who can put them in a rampaging for way more damage, and to make sure my soul is a different element, like I'd say light or something like that. But that's the whole thing with the Wilms. You gotta be, it's a specific setup. To be quite honest, I don't recommend it all that much. I really don't. Now, we don't get the bow, like this SSR bow, because that's off of a rerun on this. We do, however, get that it's a special sword. I think it's an axe. It counts as an axe. I hope so. I hope I'm looking at that right. But that's what this does. Apparently is it doesn't look like it's a pride effect. I think it's just a straight up attack boost. But you do want the SSR weapons anyway, so you want the SSR weapons and add-ons as much as you can get. Again, I'm not getting too much info off this because it's kind of hard to look at it, but I can go into it and see. Okay, it is a pride weapon. Alright, so yeah, the whole thing with that, and looking at this info too, which is a little bit of a spoiler, they get extra effects too when you get a 4th break, but we don't get that long until a little bit later down the line. But actually no, I think that's long down the line. But anyways, the whole thing with the pride weapons, the lower your HP, the more the attack power. I don't exactly worry too much about this, because you have to have, it's a little bit of a risky strategy, also with the Wilms as well. But the whole thing with it is the fact that if you are low on HP, this can sip and give you a lot more of a power spike. More than what the assault weapons would do. So, it's situational. It's still worth having because you get an attack power boost just having it on there anyways. But that's the whole thing. But that's pretty much it that I have for this. Again, this event is going to be interesting. I don't have too much faith in it because of the status effects, because you need a lot of resistance. And quite frankly, the team that actually has the most of it for me is my water team. But they can't do much of crap in damage. So, that said, I think I'm going to end up having to experiment a little bit before I put a video out. Anyways, that's all I have for this video. A lot of good stuff that came in, and then there's a interesting challenge for you. But anyways, expect more Kamihime project. And again, log in for the magic jewels. They've been handing them out like candy. You want these magic jewels. But that's all I have for now, guys. Take care.